So I just thought I'd give you a little update about what's happening here in Portugal. This weekend we have been planting some trees on the land of my friend Xavier Hancock. He's got quite a large plot in a valley, and what we are doing is replacing a lot of the trees that are here. There's been a lot of eucalyptus planted here, a lot of pine planted here. These are cash crops. The eucalyptus is used for making paper, mostly toilet paper, and the pine is used for timber. The trouble with these two particular cash crop trees is they are very, very flammable, and a lot of the fires that are happening here in Portugal have been exacerbated by the fact that these two trees have been planted over massive, massive areas of the landscape here. So Xavier is slowly, with a small community, taking over a valley, rewilding it, planting out original indigenous species like cork and oak, put a lot of deciduous trees back into the landscape, into the environment, to hold a lot of moisture and less oils that are flammable. So when the fires do come through, these trees will actually form a barrier to the fires and protect the land. So obviously we'd like to do this over a lot of Portugal, and I understand that they are changing their forestry management structures and systems to prevent these fires, because there was an absolute disaster here 2 years ago. I'm sure some of you heard about that. Though it doesn't get reported on the news for some reason, even though it's massive news out here. In the UK, people don't get to hear about that. But back on the ground, here in Xavi's land, I'll just show you a little bit about what we're doing here. This is a typical Portuguese mountainside covered in eucalyptus trees. There we go. But you can just see creeping into the bottom of the screen here, this is what we've done on Xavi's land. It looks pretty aggressive. We've come in with bulldozers and cut down all the trees that were here. We've cut down everything, flattened large areas of land, and created, I'm stumbling here, created terraces. So I'm gonna walk a little further. You can see how one terrace slopes down, and there's another flat area here, and we've got about 4 or 5 steps, massive giant steps, all the way down this mountainside following this track. Just down, there's one terrace here, there's another one there, there's another one further down, and here we go. These are cork oak seeds. Cork is a very special tree here in Portugal. It's a protected species, and corks, like regular oaks, drop their acorns on the ground in their thousands, and each one of these has a very small chance of growing into a tree. The cork trees really play the numbers game. What we're attempting to do is increase the chances of each of these oaks growing into a tree by planting them out onto the slopes of this mountainside. Obviously the flat areas are going to be used for some kind of agricultural purpose, for growing food crops, but these slopes in between the flat areas of the terraces will be forested with these oaks. Imagine, if you will, this mountainside planted out with beautiful native forest full of oaks and walnuts, almonds, a few fruit trees, really restoring this place back to its natural beauty, much more harmonious for the environment and very useful for the humans who live here too. Okay, so very quick biology lesson. If you were to investigate underneath the forest floor, you will find this web, this network that joins all the trees together. It's not the trees themselves, but a web of mycelium. Mushrooms are symbiotic with trees. In particular, trees generally have connections with particular types of fungus. And what the mushrooms do is they assist the trees to draw nutrients up into their bodies, and they also help them with a network of communication. Trees communicate with each other in many different ways, and one of them is through this underground root network. They can alert each other of animals, for example, that are coming through to browse. So the trees may put up particular chemicals into their leaves that make the leaves taste bitter, to prevent the animals from browsing through the whole area. If they were being attacked by certain insects, they might do other sort of magical chemical things that would protect them. They communicate in this way through the mycelium web. So we are going to use a product to assist this web from developing in this what will become a forest. We have this what I'm calling a mycosal goop. It's mycosal powder that is essentially the fungus in stasis, and we hydrate that powder, we dip the roots in, and we plant the seed, and that will assist the whole growth process of the forest. So our process of tree planting has looked a little bit like this. We find a place to dig a little hole in the ground, like so. We've got some nice rich soil that we're just going to pour into the hole there. We take a little acorn seedling and we're going to dip it into our mycosal goop, just to get a nice coating around all the roots. And just lay our seedling down there, cover it with just a little bit of soil, because acorns generally, when they grow, they don't start off so deep in the ground. And then we're going to cover with some oak leaf mulch that we collected from a forest. What we've also been doing is, with every tree that's been planted here in this particular place, that happens to be very rich in quartz, we're putting a little quartz crystal in the ground to encourage that tree to grow. And one final thing that I've been doing, just because I like healing and healing energy, is just giving that tree a little bit of energy there to encourage it to grow and be healthy. So yeah, that's our process of planting trees. The observant ones among you may notice a slight costume change and a distinct difference in the climate behind us. I tried to make this video all in one day, but when I got back yesterday evening I realized that some things hadn't recorded, so I came back this morning to just finish off the video. It's a little cooler today, and it's very likely to rain, which is going to be fantastic news for our young trees here. The rains will come down and hopefully give all of these trees a good watering to help them establish themselves where they are going to be growing. And what we'll do next is come along here with a lot more biomass, a lot more leaf mould, and we'll distribute that quite widely over the mountainsides and mimic a forest floor, which would have a lot of leaf mould and organic matter covering the soil. And we're going to go in and we're going to dot in a few younger trees, not younger but young trees, just to help the forest get established. And I'll come back here from time to time and take a little snapshot, so this video will be added to as time goes by, so you get to see the full story as it unfolds over a period of time. But very happy with what we've done over the last couple of days. Got a lot of seeds in the ground, and we've got the beginning of a very beautiful forest here.